Some of you know that I have an Instagram account called Millionaire Dream, which is about to hit 500,000 followers. Here's how I did it. Now, to be completely honest with you, for the past few years with this Instagram account, I have outsourced it, hence the terrible results of recent times as I just didn't do that effectively. But I'm still going to make this video and show you the strategies that I used to get close to 500,000 followers on Instagram, and this was actually the first account that I started. And I am planning on making a series of me rebuilding the engagement, the income, and the growth of this account, so if you want to see that, stay tuned. But for today's video, here's how I gained almost 500,000 followers on Instagram on one account without relying on good looks or investing any money into it up front. Now, the special thing about this Instagram account and why I have not sold it yet is because this was actually my first ever online business that I started when I was about 15 and grew from 0 to 100,000 followers, as well as about $1,000 per month in income in my first year of doing it, living in this small town in New Zealand called Nelson. Now, I built this account before there was any YouTubers talking about how to grow on Instagram, before there was even a ton of blogs out there that were talking about it. It was kind of an unknown subject, and I just randomly almost fell into it. And because it was such a new subject, I pretty much learned everything through networking and trial and error. Nowadays, with all the free information online, such as my own channel, as well as a huge amount of other YouTubers who are putting out awesome content, ton of blogs, podcasts, etc., you could get considerably better results than what I've got because you know so much more than I did when I started. Now, I'm going to break down how I grew this account with 5 main strategies. Now, the first thing that I did that helped me grow really fast quickly was I actually went into a niche that did not have a huge amount of competition. When I started this account about 5 years ago, there were a bunch of motivational quote accounts on Instagram, but they were more like the heartfelt, like good feels sort of quotes, and it was just white backgrounds with black text on top. It was very basic, it was very plain. There was no like hardcore motivation, I would say, or like things that are going to push you to work hard in the gym and focus on your business. It was more probably inspiration than anything. And yet the quotes that I were putting out there were more like motivational sort of stuff to grow your business or to go out there and hit the gym hard, things that would get you fired up. And there was a handful of accounts in this niche when I started, but they were all sort of between 10,000 and about 100,000 followers. And there was only sort of like 10 or 15 decent sized ones within that range. And I was in that sort of next phase of accounts coming through after those guys. This meant I was able to grow really fast at the start because my content was really unique, and when people stumbled across it, it was content that they often hadn't already seen on Instagram, and therefore they followed so they could actually see more of that content. As opposed to today, if you're posting motivational content, any user on Instagram has probably seen over 100 motivational quote accounts on the platform, which makes it a lot harder to get people to follow you. However, you can still see success in this niche. Even if you started today, you could still grow a quotes account. It just takes a bit more effort, a bit more skill, and you have to find some sort of unique way to put a spin on it, or just be willing to invest some money up front. So the first thing that helped me a lot was going into a very unsaturated niche. The second thing I did was post a ridiculously large amount of content on this account and do my best job to make sure it was quality, although looking back on it, it was not quality. Now, I would post on this account about 5 to 6 times per day when I was growing it in that first year when I was just right into it and going hard. And that helped me grow really fast because it just gave so many more ways for people to find me, so many more pieces of content out there on the platform that could bring me followers, whether it was from people sharing it with their friends, reposting it, because that was a big thing then. People used to repost these quotes all the time on their feeds, whether it be from ranking on a hashtag, whether it just be from an influencer finding the quote and posting it on their account. And on top of this, by posting a ton of high quality content, it meant I could slip in a lot of cross promotion style content where I would promote someone else's page and they would promote mine, and it didn't come across as spammy because I had like 6 great pieces of content going out that day. So if I had 2 cross promotions, then people didn't care, and it allowed me to grow really fast. Don't get me wrong, this took a ton of work, and I would spend hours and hours and hours in my weekends creating this content to then go about and post it, but in the long run, it's definitely worth it. Now, the third thing that I did was networking, and a lot of it. Now, I just touched on this before, but by networking a lot on Instagram allowed me to really grow way faster and build up my audience fast. Now, this was down to two main reasons. Firstly, it allowed me to build up a network of like-minded people who were also trying to do similar things to me and were also out there constantly testing and trying different things out, and we could all share ideas, give each other tips and tricks. If we found things that were working or weren't working, we could help each other out. There was not a lot of YouTubers. I don't even think there were any YouTubers, as mentioned, that were in this niche. So the only way you learn was from other people in the space that you were sort of talking to on a daily basis. But on top of this, it also allowed us to grow from each other's accounts as well. Having this large network of like-minded people that had similar sized pages in the same niche meant we could cross-promote each other's accounts and grow all of them really quickly. Nowadays, you don't see people doing as much cross-promotion purely because people are trying to rank their content in the Explore page to get a ton of growth that way. But when I started on Instagram, there was no such thing as the Explore page, and instead the only way you could really grow was through people sharing your content or ranking on hashtags. And so sharing your content, an easy way to get that was to cross promote each other. So that's what we did. And as mentioned above, as we were all posting like 5 to 6 times a day and just going hardcore on the content, it was easy to slip in 2 to 3 promotions every single day, and if you're gaining 100 or so followers from each of these cross promotions, it was a very simple way to add another 2, 3, 400 followers per day and growth to our accounts. Now, this strategy still works, and you can still go out there today and use this strategy to grow your audience, although it is seen people just do it way less because the algorithm favors only like the viral content. So if you post something slightly off brand and it gets less engagement, Instagram show it to less people, and it sort of has that negative compounding effect. So you're better off, I think, today to focus on trying to hit the Explore page rather than doing cross promotion. You can do cross promotion in the stories, or if your content is really similar, maybe, but it was much more effective back then relative to the other options. Now, strategy number 4 that I used to grow this account was going out there and engaging with other people. I would sit in my class in high school, nail my work for the day in the first, section of the class, and then I would whip out my phone, get done commenting on hashtags all day long. Now, I'm not saying you should ignore your teachers and focus on Instagram, but it did work out okay. My teachers were awesome though. They didn't really mind too much. I'm sorry. Now, a couple years ago, Gary Vee coined this strategy as the $1.80 strategy, where you go out and leave your 2 cents on 90 pieces of content every single day, and that's a good way to grow your audience. And whilst that is a great way that still works and I still promote to talk about today, back then I was doing it like on steroids, because back then there was no such thing as an action block, and there were way less people doing it, if any. There was only a handful of us actually doing this strategy, and so if you went out and left a comment on someone's piece of content, they were genuinely excited to see it. They weren't like numb to the idea of getting comments, because there are so many spam comments nowadays. Like, they saw a comment pop up and they went and looked at it, they clicked on the account, and it was really effective then. On top of this, like I mentioned, there was no such thing as an action block, so some days I would leave over 1,000 comments on different hashtags as a way to get my account in front of more people. And this would easily lead to 200, 300, 400 followers plus per day if I was averaging 1,000 plus comments on different pieces of content. Although some days I obviously didn't hit that, some days I didn't do this at all, but if I really wanted to push my numbers up and I had nothing to do and I was sitting in class, I would just get on my phone and drop comments for that time. Like I say, this still works. It is less effective, but if you're monetizing your account in the right way, you can actually make a lot of money using this strategy. And I will link my full tutorial for this down in the description below if you want to watch that video. Now, moving on to the 5th and final step, and this is something that so few people do and massively helps you, but is massively overlooked at the same time, and that is reinvesting and the power of compounding growth. Now, after a few months, I started to make a little bit of money from my account just from selling shoutouts on the side, and that was pretty much the only thing I was doing from the beginning. And when I did sell shoutouts on the account, I would then turn around, get that money, and go and send it to someone with more followers than me for them to promote my content. So I was getting paid to promote different brands, and then turning around and investing all of that money back into paying larger accounts to promote my channel to get me more followers, which in turn meant that I could make more of an income. Now, on top of this, I also did pay to join different networks and learn from people, although I actually had someone with a lot of followers help me out, for free, because I was buying a lot of promotions from him and I actually paid to be inside of his private networking group. And this just has the whole compounding effect, because you make $100, you turn around and spend that, you grow your following, and then the next month you make 150, and then you spend that, and then the next month you make 250, and it just goes up and up and up. Now, if you're using the right strategies, you can make way more than that and grow considerably faster. But bear in mind, I was a 16-year-old, there was none of this information online, and I was just learning everything myself. Now, by doing this allowed me to compound my results and see really exponential growth. I can't remember the exact numbers, you can look it up on my social blade if you want, but I believe after sort of like 4 or 5 months I had not much of a following, and then the next 6 months things just exploded because I knew what I was doing, I had better content, and I was reinvesting the money that I made back into growing it faster. I think too often people make their first bit of money online, whether it be through Instagram, through YouTube, through dropshipping, through a marketing agency, and they go out there and spend it on a Gucci shirt or a nice watch or a holiday or a car or whatever it might be. And whilst it's very good to treat yourself and reward yourself for the hard work, it's often going to be a much better, more sensible idea, and my personal approach, to reinvest that back into your business, to maybe buy more stock for your e-commerce store, or produce higher quality YouTube videos, or to get more clients for your agency, to hire someone to make better content for your Instagram, which is going to allow you to grow faster and make way more returns down the line, which you can then go and do whatever you want with. Now, this reinvestment can come in many ways. It could be investing in a coach, it could be getting a course, it could be paying for ads, it could be hiring someone to help you with a certain aspect of your business, it could be paying for better software to help you, it could be buying equipment like this camera or my lights or my microphone, or a better computer, a better phone that can allow you to do what you do better and get better results. So, a combination of a relatively untapped niche, posting a huge amount of content, networking a ton, a huge amount of cross promotion, and reinvested, compounding over months if not years, allowed me to rapidly grow my account in the first year and see awesome results on Instagram. This got me to 300,000 followers extremely quickly, and then the last sort of few years since then, I've been more focused on my agency, which has been my main source of income, and I have just completely outsourced this account for passive income. Now, over the past 4 years, it still gained about 200,000 followers and made me a nice steady source of passive income, as well as being a great networking platform for me to get in touch with potential clients, reach out to some of my heroes. I've had literal conversations with huge people I never thought I'd ever be able to connect with. Pro athletes, celebrities, childhood heroes of mine that I didn't think I'd be able to ever talk to have actually been fans and talked to through the account, being able to get in touch with. So it's definitely a cool account that I definitely will try and keep for as long as possible. And I appreciate every single one of you who has helped support that account thus far. I really genuinely appreciate you, as well as you legends who are supporting the YouTube channel too. Now, if you want to see me do a series where I work on reviving this account, from bringing the engagement back up, bringing the growth back up, monetizing the account, and walking you through everything that I'm doing to get those results, as well as the exact results that I'm getting, let me know in the comment section below and drop a like on this video. I don't really have a like goal, but if it hits a certain amount of likes and there's a certain amount of you that comment that you want to see it, then I'll go ahead and get that made and, slowly rebuild this account. Anyway, that's it from the video. If you want to see more videos like this, I post 2 videos every single week, all about growing on Instagram, making money online. And if you want to see more of that, subscribe, drop a like on the video. If you want to get my free Instagram ebook, that'll be linked down below where you can learn more about Instagram. And aside from that, see you later. Have an awesome day. And I will see you all next time.